SpaceX just revealed the truth behind Ship 36's explosion. A tiny nitrogen tank in the nose cone failed below its safety limit, triggering the massive fireball that destroyed the $90 million rocket in seconds. But here's the terrifying part. This exact failure already killed a Falcon 9 in 2016. So why did SpaceX let it happen again? And what does this mean for their Mars timeline when they can't even keep their rockets safe on the ground? Let's dive right in. The night everything went wrong. June 18th, 11 p.m. The Massey test site glows under massive floodlights. Ship 36 stands ready on the test stand, a $90 million masterpiece of engineering waiting for its moment. Tonight was supposed to be routine. Engineers pump liquid methane and liquid oxygen into the rocket, just like filling a car before a long drive. The plan? Fire up all 6 Raptor engines without actually launching. Test the systems, check the data, move one step closer to Mars. But in less than 30 seconds, everything changes. The explosion doesn't start where you'd expect, not in those massive fuel tanks holding thousands of gallons of rocket propellant, not in the 6 Raptor engines that could flatten a city block. It starts in something no bigger than a household water heater, tucked away in the nose cone where nobody's looking. And that's just the beginning of this nightmare. The killer in the nose cone. SpaceX drops their bombshell announcement. Initial analysis indicates the potential failure of a pressurized tank known as a COPV containing gaseous nitrogen in Starship's nose cone area. COPV, composite overwrapped pressure vessel. Think of it as nature's strongest balloon, wrapped in carbon fiber that's tougher than steel. These tanks hold gas under pressure so extreme it would make your car tire explode like a firecracker. But here's what makes every rocket engineer's blood run cold. This tank failed below its proof pressure. That means it broke under less stress than it was designed to handle. It's like a bridge collapsing when only half the expected traffic drives across it. Wait, didn't SpaceX specifically say these COPVs share no commonality with Falcon 9 rockets? Keep that statement in mind, because what comes next will make you question everything SpaceX has been telling us. Anatomy of a $90 million mistake. Let's trace exactly what happened that night. Ship 36 uses Starship's version 2 design, a 165-foot-tall steel tower packed with the complexity of a small city. At the bottom, the liquid oxygen tank. Above that, the massive methane tank. But running along the sides are smaller header tanks that feed fuel to the engines during critical moments like landing burns. The explosion footage reveals a chilling sequence. First, you see jets of cryogenic fluid shooting from the nose cone area, not the main fuel tanks. Then the ship splits apart along the exact line where these header tanks connect to the main body. It's like watching a pressure cooker explode when its safety valve fails. The blast doesn't just destroy the valve, it tears the entire cooker to pieces. Except this pressure cooker was a 165-foot rocket, worth more than most people will earn in their entire lifetime. And the most disturbing part? This was all happening on the ground, under controlled conditions, with emergency crews standing by. If SpaceX can't keep their rockets safe during simple ground tests, how do they expect to send humans safely to Mars? Elon's just a scratch, confidence or damage control. While engineers around the world watched in horror, Elon Musk's response was telling. Just a scratch, he tweeted casually, as if watching $90 million evaporate was nothing more than a minor inconvenience. But behind that confident facade lies a much darker reality. This explosion just derailed SpaceX's entire timeline. Ship 36 was supposed to fly on Integrated Flight Test 10, scheduled for June 29th. The FAA had issued preliminary approvals. NASA was monitoring progress closely. Commercial customers were holding their breath. And then, in 30 seconds, it all collapsed. But here's what Musk isn't saying publicly. This failure pattern is becoming impossible to ignore. We've now seen COPV-related issues across multiple SpaceX programs, spanning nearly a decade. The question is no longer about one failed tank. It's about whether SpaceX has a fundamental design flaw they still haven't solved. How many more explosions will it take before someone admits the truth? When one failure destroys everything, the Ship 36 explosion didn't just destroy the rocket, it obliterated the entire Massey test facility. The static fire stand, gone. The fuel delivery systems destroyed. The safety equipment melted slag. It's like your kitchen exploding and then realizing you can't cook dinner for the next 6 months. Ship 37 sits in the production hangar, nearly complete, but unable to test. Even if SpaceX finished it tomorrow, where would they put it? Launch Pad A? That's a $2 billion gamble. If Ship 37 fails during testing there, it could destroy the launch tower and set SpaceX back years. This is where SpaceX's move fast and break things philosophy crashes into reality. You can rebuild software overnight. You can't rebuild a rocket test facility while federal agencies are asking uncomfortable questions about your safety protocols. And the clock keeps ticking. Every day of delay means NASA's Artemis program falls further behind schedule. Commercial customers start eyeing competitors. The narrow window for Mars missions gets smaller. SpaceX isn't just racing against engineering challenges anymore. They're racing against their own promises, and they're losing. The math that keeps executives awake. Let's talk numbers. Ship 36, $70–90 million, gone. Massey facility repairs, millions more. But the real cost isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in time. Every month of delay ripples through the entire space industry. NASA's moon program gets pushed back. Commercial satellite launches get rescheduled. The International Space Station's resupply missions face uncertainty. But here's the calculation that really matters. SpaceX has promised to reduce launch costs from $30–40 million per Falcon 9 flight to just $10 million per Starship mission, while carrying 5 times more payload. That's an incredible promise. If it works, it revolutionizes space travel. If it doesn't, SpaceX becomes the company that promised Mars but couldn't even master Earth. And right now, the evidence is pointing in a very uncomfortable direction. 4 failures in a row. Let's count them. Flight 7, explosion during re-entry. Flight 8, lost during landing attempt. Flight 9, another explosion. Ship 36, destroyed before it could even fly. 4 consecutive failures, each one teaching SpaceX something new about rocket science. Each one also revealing how much they still don't understand about their own technology. This pattern is starting to worry the people who matter most. NASA depends on SpaceX for astronaut transportation. The U.S. military relies on them for national security launches. Commercial customers have invested billions in SpaceX's promises. At what point does rapid iterative development become, we can't build a rocket that doesn't explode? The space industry is asking this question more loudly with each failure, and SpaceX's competitors are listening very carefully to the answer. Blood in the water. While SpaceX deals with exploding rockets, their competitors smell opportunity. Blue Origin secures a $2.3 billion Space Force contract. ULA maintains their perfect launch record. Even smaller companies are starting to look more reliable by comparison. Elon's response? A defiant tweet claiming SpaceX competitors cannot currently deliver the other 40% of required missions. But confidence only carries you so far when your rockets keep turning into fireballs. The brutal truth is that every SpaceX failure becomes a marketing opportunity for everyone else. NASA needs backup plans. The military needs reliable alternatives. Commercial customers need rockets that actually work. And with each explosion, those alternatives start looking more attractive. But there's something else happening behind the scenes. Something SpaceX desperately hopes you'll never find out about. Something that could change everything we think we know about this company's future. The hidden truth behind SpaceX's nitrogen tank crisis. So here's what SpaceX doesn't want you to know. That mysterious nitrogen tank failure, it's not random. Internal sources suggest SpaceX has been struggling with COPV reliability across their entire fleet for years. But they've been quietly fixing failures without public disclosure. The real question isn't whether SpaceX can fix this problem, it's whether they've been honest about how often it's actually happening. Ship 36's explosion just forced them to admit what insiders have known all along. Their revolutionary rocket technology still has some very old-school problems. But here's the twist that changes everything. NASA just quietly started developing backup plans for Artemis missions. Blue Origin is suddenly getting more military contracts, and China's space program is accelerating faster than anyone expected. The space race isn't just heating up, it's about to explode. What do you think? Is SpaceX's transparency about this failure a sign of maturity or damage control? And more importantly, can they really fix a problem that's been haunting them since 2016? Drop your thoughts below, because this story is far from over. "11:01 p.m. Ship 36 explodes into pieces. Metal chunks fly towards Santa Monica. SpaceX stays silent about what really happened, but these leaked photos tell the whole story. Look at this Raptor engine, completely torn apart. The nozzle split right down the middle. Protective casing gone. This is exactly what caused the explosion. Here's what's really shocking. The same problem killed Ship 34 3 months ago. SpaceX claimed they fixed it, ran 50 engine tests, got approval, then boom, it happened again. Why does this keep happening? Is there something fundamentally wrong with Starship's design? The answer lies in what SpaceX cut from their live stream. What they didn't want you to see in those final moments. Let's dive right in. The night everything went wrong. 3 hours of fueling, everything normal. Then at 11:01 p.m., disaster strikes. Ship 36 becomes a fireball that lights up the Texas sky. But this explosion is different. The blast doesn't just destroy the vehicle. It launches burning metal chunks northwest towards Santa Monica. Satellite radar tracks this fireball flying through the night sky. Debris from a rocket explosion in Texas, nearly reaching California. The destruction is total. Static fire stand, gone. Adjacent fuel tanks, destroyed. Thick smoke rises for hours into the darkness. The scene looks like a war zone. SpaceX's official statement? Major anomaly while on test stand. That's it. No explanation, no root cause, no timeline for fixes. But these leaked photos reveal the truth they're hiding. The evidence that changes everything. 3 months of silence, then internal SpaceX images surface. They tell a story SpaceX never wanted you to hear. Look at this Raptor vacuum engine. The nozzle, split right down the middle. Protective casing, completely gone. Internal components exposed like an open wound. This isn't normal wear and tear. This is catastrophic structural failure. See those metal fragments scattered everywhere? That's the engine tearing itself apart from the inside. The forces required to do this damage, beyond imagination. Now here's the shocking part. SpaceX knew this was happening during their live broadcast. Clean, controlled footage on screen, while violence erupted inside those engines. They chose not to show it. Why hide the truth? The deadly pattern emerges. Ship 34, Ship 36, 2 different vehicles, same deadly problem. Both destroyed by fuel mixing issues, both claiming to be fixed before exploding. The timeline reveals everything. March 2024. Ship 34 suffers engine failure during Flight 8. SpaceX implements 8 corrective actions. The FAA closes its investigation. Gives SpaceX the green light. June 2024. Ship 36 explodes during static testing. Same fuel mixing problem. Same catastrophic result. Between these failures, SpaceX conducted over 50 long-duration Raptor firings at McGregor. They added nitrogen purging systems, reinforced key joints, improved fuel venting. They threw everything at this problem. It still happened again. This raises a terrifying question. Is the Raptor engine fundamentally flawed? The hidden footage SpaceX cut. Remember when SpaceX cut their live stream at T+9 minutes during Flight 8? The ship hadn't exploded yet. The onboard camera was still running. But they chose darkness over truth. These leaked photos reveal why. Moments before the stream cut, dark vapor comes from the sea-level engines. Fuel leaking, mixing with oxygen, creating a deadly cocktail. T+7 minutes 45 seconds. An orange flame bursts in the engine bay. 20 seconds later, chaos erupts. One vacuum engine shuts down. 3 sea-level engines fail simultaneously. The ship wobbles 146 kilometers above Earth, flying at insane speeds, completely out of control. But here's what will shock you. SpaceX didn't trigger their flight termination system. The ship's automatic safety system activated itself after losing contact. It recognized the vehicle was doomed, destroyed itself to prevent uncontrolled debris. Even SpaceX's own rockets knew they were in trouble. The engineering nightmare explained. What goes wrong inside a Raptor engine?
The answer is terrifying.
Methane and oxygen must mix in perfect proportions, like a recipe that cannot be altered. Too much methane, too much oxygen. Combustion becomes unstable.